The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
Oh, Lord.
Let's not waste any time, because Katt Williams just dropped a bomb tying Chris Tucker and Diddy to something way darker than just Hollywood drama. Katt basically said the Chris Tucker we see today isn't Smokey from Friday anymore. He's a man hiding behind religion with ties that link straight back to Jeffrey Epstein's infamous circle. And if you think that's wild, wait until we connect how Diddy's name keeps circling the same conversations. Religion, cult-like behavior, and industry secrets that sound more ritual than random. Now, Katt's not new to exposing shady Hollywood dealings, but the way he framed Chris Tucker, it shook people because it wasn't just about Tucker turning down a movie role. It was about what he may have been part of, or at least seen, in those private circles. As you guys probably know, Chris Tucker shocked fans when he walked away from Hollywood at the peak of his career. He turned down $10 to $12 million to star in Next Friday, supposedly because of profanity and weed use in the script. Ice Cube even confirmed it wasn't about money. It was about Chris wanting to keep his image clean and faith-centered. On the surface, that looks admirable, but here's where Katt Williams flipped the narrative. He hinted that Chris wasn't just turning down Hollywood roles for faith. He was reinventing himself, maybe even hiding behind religion after being tied to people like Epstein. Think about it. Why would someone who built his fame as Smokey, funny, weed smoking, street smart, suddenly shift to preaching on faith and church every Sunday? Was it really conviction or was it strategy? Now here's where it gets messy. Chris Tucker admitted he flew on Epstein's private jet in 2002 for what was described as a humanitarian trip to Africa with Bill Clinton and others. Sounds innocent, right? But that plane, that was the Lolita Express, the same one tied to countless disturbing stories.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different. That was a humanitarian trip to Africa, and I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation, and I met him, and you don't know people what they do in their private lives, so.
When asked about it, Tucker awkwardly laughed and denied ever going to Epstein's island. But fans caught the tone. Why laugh when you're asked about something that dark? And why even be in the circle of someone like Epstein if you claim to stand so firmly on faith? To make it worse, Chante Davies, one of Epstein's accusers, spoke out about disturbing incidents that happened on flights. And leaked photos show Chris on that trip, even posing near people directly connected to Epstein's inner circle, like his longtime housekeeper. No, Tucker hasn't been accused of committing crimes, but his proximity is enough to make people wonder if he saw more than he's ever admitted. This is where Katt Williams enters. He pulls up to Club Shay and drops the Epstein Island Chris Tucker bomb. That's a heavy statement. He wasn't joking. He was implying Chris is compromised, and when you connect it, it makes sense. Katt's whole point was that Chris's drastic image shift wasn't just spiritual, it was calculated. He suggested Tucker might have been forced into silence after getting too close to powerful people, and now uses religion as both a shield and a distraction. So what's the secret Katt is really pointing at? That Tucker isn't just a church-going comedian, but someone who's been inside circles that operate more like cults than communities. Now we can't ignore this part, because if you're talking cult-like activity in Hollywood, Diddy's name always shows up. From the wild freak-offs rumors to parties where celebrities had to check their phones at the door, the secrecy is a recurring theme. And here's the link. Both Diddy and Tucker have reputations for being faithful men on the surface, but behind the scenes, stories keep bubbling about ritual-like parties, odd alliances, and shady friendships with powerful figures. It's almost like religion becomes the perfect front. While fans see church visits and gospel quotes, insiders whisper about occult-style gatherings and people getting compromised. Katt putting Chris Tucker in the same sentence as Epstein automatically pulls Diddy into the picture, because Diddy's been accused of creating the same type of power circles where loyalty isn't about friendship but about silence. And this is where the audience gets divided. On one side, some believe Chris is genuinely religious and stepped away after witnessing too much darkness. They argue maybe he saw things on that plane, maybe even at parties, and decided he couldn't stomach it anymore. Religion, in that sense, would be his escape. But on the flip side, Others are convinced Chris wasn't just a bystander, he was a participant. They point to his connection to Epstein's jet, his odd laughter in interviews, his sudden retreat from Hollywood, and the way Katt Williams called him out without hesitation. And when you throw Diddy into the mix, who's currently facing accusations from multiple directions, it starts to feel less like a coincidence and more like a pattern. So let's piece this together. If Tucker and Diddy were both moving in the same elite circles and both are being accused of hiding behind religion while allegedly dabbling in darker stuff, doesn't that sound like cult behavior? The secrecy, the sudden shifts in personality, the way outsiders who speak up, like Katt, are painted as crazy or bitter. That's exactly how cult-like structures operate. Tucker went from Smokey to church preacher overnight. Diddy went from hitmaker to a man constantly surrounded by whispers of occult parties. Both paths scream of people who saw too much, did too much, and now cover it with religion and philanthropy. Now here's the crazy part. If Katt Williams is right, then this isn't just about Chris Tucker or Diddy individually. It's about how Hollywood protects secrets by making celebrities reinvent themselves. Some turn to politics, some turn to business, and some, like Tucker, turn to religion. The question is, did Tucker and Diddy align in something bigger? A cult-like system in the industry where silence buys safety? Because if you think about it, Tucker's silence and Diddy's denial tactics look eerily similar. They both dodge direct questions, both laugh off rumors, and both lean on faith when pressed. So, is it all just coincidence? Or is Katt hinting at something the rest of Hollywood already knows but won't say out loud? At the end of the day, you've got two completely different takes on Chris Tucker. Some see him as a man of God who walked away from fame after seeing too much evil. Others see him as someone compromised, now hiding in plain sight with Diddy, and others who allegedly dabbled in cult-like circles. That's why you read comments online that say stuff like, so the same plane he used to take Bill Clinton and Chris Tucker to South Africa for a humanitarian expedition was named the Lolita Express. Come on, Chris. And another person added, we don't need another Friday, we need a whole new original movie. But the real question is, did Chris Tucker simply witness too much? Or was he part of it? And is Diddy covering the same type of secrets under his empire? Let us know what you think in the comments. Is Katt exposing the truth about a secret cult? Or is this just another layer of Hollywood smoke and mirrors?